Welcome to the latest Global Skills Opportunity Awardee webinar from the McMaster Health Forum. I'll provide a brief summary of the McMaster Health Forum, as well as a summary of the Global Skills Opportunity Program, and then I'll turn things over to today's GSO awardee presenter, Sheri, who completed an internship in Kosovo. The McMaster Health Forum is a leading hub for improving health outcomes through collective problem solving. We harness information, convene stakeholders, and prepare action-oriented leaders to act as an agent of change by empowering stakeholders. The Global Skills Opportunity Student Mobility Projects aim to empower Canadian students, especially underrepresented students, to take advantage of international learning experiences and to develop skills such as problem solving, adaptability, resilience, and intercultural competency. While open to all undergraduate students, the national program targets groups for whom international experiences have traditionally been less accessible, specifically Indigenous students, students from low-income backgrounds, and those with disabilities. It also aims to diversify the destination countries where Canadian students pursue international learning. The McMaster Health Forum is proud to have been selected to host the Global Skills Opportunity Student Mobility Project from October 2021 to March 2025. This project will enable emerging leaders within McMaster University's undergraduate community to build knowledge and skills to support health and social system strengthening internationally. We will leverage McMaster Health Forum's programs to support skills development in policy, political and systems analysis, evidence synthesis, and stakeholder engagement, while building on our experience with student mentorship, leadership development, and facilitating international exchange. During the first half of the GSO program at McMaster Health Forum, we engaged 9 students who work with international partners in India, South Africa, and Trinidad and Tobago. During the latter half of our program, we engaged another 9 students working with international partners in Australia, Kosovo, India, and South Africa. Today's GSO awardee presenter is Sheri Kabashi. During the time of GSO, Sheri was an undergraduate student in the Honors Mathematics and Statistics program, specializing in statistics with a minor in infectious disease and society. Sheri's academic interests lie in statistics and global health, as demonstrated through her projects on machine learning applications for predicting heart disease and ecological modeling of disease transmission dynamics. Thanks to GSO, Sheri traveled to Kosovo to work with the Evidence Synthesis Group, where she gained hands-on experience in evidence synthesis research, deepening her understanding of health systems in low-income countries and enhancing her cultural competency. Sheri, over to you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sheri Kabashi and I'm a recipient of the GSO Global Skills Opportunities, and in January 2025 I visited Pristina, Kosovo. This presentation will have 2 parts. First, I'll talk about the professional work I did with my research team, which focused on physician retention and evidence-informed policy. And then I'll share some personal reflections from living in Kosovo, the places I visited, the culture I experienced, and the lessons I brought home with me. A little bit about me. I'm an honors mathematics and statistics student specializing in statistics with a minor in the impact of infectious disease on individuals and society. This summer, I worked as a research assistant at the McMaster Health Forum, and now I will be a teaching assistant with the math department at McMaster University. My main areas of interest are in statistics and global health. I've always been drawn to questions that sit at the intersection of numbers and people, how we can use data and rigorous analysis to solve problems that directly affect populations. That is what motivated me to take on this international placement. I wanted to apply my skills in real-world settings while also gaining insight into how healthcare challenges differ across contexts. My placement was in Pristina, Kosovo, with an evidence synthesis group connected to Heimer College. I worked under the supervision of Dr. Ilir Hoja alongside a small but highly dedicated team focused on health workforce issues. This was a unique opportunity because Kosovo is a country that faces both significant challenges and rapid development. On one hand, it's a young democracy with very motivated population, but on the other hand, it struggles with issues like limited resources, physician migration, and the need to modernize healthcare delivery. Being based in Pristina gave me a first-hand look at this balance between challenges and resilience, while also allowing me to learn from local researchers who are working tirelessly to inform policy with solid evidence. My work. Our project focused on a very pressing issue of physician retention. Kosovo faces a critical shortage of physicians. Poor working conditions and low pay drive many doctors to leave the country for better opportunities abroad. This creates a cycle where shortages make conditions worse and more physicians choose to leave, ultimately threatening healthcare quality and access for the population. Our study was designed to support the Ministry of Health's 2025 to 2030 workforce strategy. The goal was to better understand what matters most to physicians when deciding whether to stay in Kosovo or leave and connect that with global evidence on workforce retention strategies. I worked under Dr. Hoja, contributing to both statistical analysis and the evidence synthesis process. This dual role gave me the chance to strengthen my technical skills while also gaining a much broader perspective on how data can be translated into meaningful policy advice. My main responsibility was statistical coding and analysis. We had a large data set from a survey of 300 family medicine physicians across Kosovo. The survey was designed using a method called conjoint analysis. Conjoint analysis is essentially a way of understanding trade-offs in decision making. Instead of asking doctors directly what is the most important to you, which often doesn't capture the full picture, the survey presented them with a hypothetical job scenarios, each scenario combined with different job features such as salary, workload, location, or training opportunities. By analyzing the choices physicians made across scenarios, we were able to estimate how much weight they place on each factor. I built a statistical program to simulate how different job features influence their decisions to stay or leave. This helped us quantify which factors were most valued, for instance, whether improving pay, reducing workload, or offering training opportunities would have the biggest impact on retention. But my role wasn't limited to data crunching. I also contributed to the evidence synthesis process. This meant reviewing international literature on health workforce policies, identifying which strategies other countries have used, and helping integrate that global evidence with our local survey results. This combination was really powerful. It ensured our findings were locally grounded based on what physicians in Kosovo actually said, but also globally informed and drawing on the best practices from around the world. Now I would like to share a little bit about my adventures while I was in Kosovo. One of my most memorable adventures is when I went walking down Rogova Valley in Peja, Kosovo. So Kosovo is known to be a very mountainous country. There's different mountainous areas across the country in different provinces, but I chose to go to Rogova Valley. Fun fact about Rogova Valley, it's actually known the Alps of Kosovo because of its dramatic scenery. Although it's not very beautiful in my pictures, because I did go during January, so that's the winter time. If you go during the summer, it's very beautiful, green, and lively. And this was a very big stretch of land. I think I only did like a 1 hour walk, but there was way more to go by. I just didn't have time. And on their tallest mountain, they even have a very, very traditional restaurant that I was hoping to go and visit, but I didn't have time to, unfortunately. Cafe and restaurant hopping in Pristina, Kosovo. So it's very common for people to cafe restaurant hop, which basically means they go to one cafe or restaurant and then they go to another and then another. Because in Kosovo, the culture is that people like to socialize a lot. So they meet up in cafes or restaurants. And then after they like to switch it up, go to somewhere else, try something new. So while I was there, the most cafe hopping I did, I think I went to 5 different places and it was very, very fun. One of my favorite dishes that I used to love eating, you can see the picture on the right. It's shrimp tacos, although they're not a traditional food of Kosovo, it was very delicious. And then in the middle, you can see me at a restaurant that was a special restaurant that was built to show the culture of ethnic minority in Kosovo, which is the Roma Gypsy people. And I went there with my colleagues of my research team, and it was very educational. To experience rural life, I visited a village in the district of Peja, Kosovo. So in the picture, you can see I'm sitting there with a baby lamb, but I also saw cows and chickens. On the right side, you can see a traditional breakfast that people eat in the villages. And on the left, you can see a picture that of the mountains. So usually the villages and rural areas in Kosovo are near mountains. And this was a really eye-opening experience. It showed me a different way of life because in Canada, I live in a suburban area. And when I was in Kosovo, I was in more of a city area. So I got to experience what it was like to be more of a rural area. While I was in Kosovo, I was there during Ramadan and it was an amazing experience. On the right is a picture of the city square and they lit it up with a bunch of lights. Everyone was going there, walking around, um, and it was very beautiful. And while it was Ramadan was the I got to eat a lot of traditional foods. So in this picture right here, you can see traditional food called fli. And then on the left, I also went to this restaurant. Although I don't have many pictures, it was very traditional from the outside. And yeah, while I was in Kosovo, it was also the parliamentary election month. So this was a very interesting experience for me because in Kosovo, when election time comes around, it's much different than in Canada. So as you can see, I went to rallies and there was a lot of music, there was a lot of people were excited. There was a very different energy to it. And then on the right, this is actually an event that they held at a restaurant where young people could come and they could talk to different people in politics, decide which um, party they wanted to vote for. So as you can see, a lot of students showed up, like the whole place was packed. And just seeing how lively people are in Kosovo during the election month was a very interesting experience for me. I also went to Pristina Mall, which is the largest mall in the Balkans. So it has a whole shopping area, golf cart area, arcade area, bowling area, movie theater area. And this was a very interesting place for me to visit because it had the most amount of tourists. So a lot of people were coming from different countries just to visit the mall, see what it's like. So that was a very nice experience for me. I wanted to share what the most important lesson that I learned while I was in Kosovo, and it is the importance of socialization. People of all ages fill cafes, parks, and public squares in Kosovo. Friends linger over coffee for hours, families go out for evening walks, and even young people spend chatting in small groups rather than staring at screens. I noticed how these simple routines form the backbone of community life. This experience shaped my perspective on life and priorities. It reminded me that slowing down, building relationships, and valuing shared moments are not luxuries, they're essential. In Kosovo, professional achievements are important, but they are balanced with human connection. And I left with a renewed appreciation for the idea that life isn't just about checking tasks off a list, and it's about the people you spend time with and the moments you share. Slowing down to connect with others is valued just as much as work or productivity. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.
Thank you, Sheri, for that informative presentation on your experiences in Kosovo. And thank you for those who joined us online and watched this video on YouTube. Both of our GSO and QES programs are now completed as of March 2025. But if you're interested in these programs and the experiences of our awardees and scholars, the links on the screen will take you to those presentations. Thank you.